Hello, respected viewers. I'm George from Ireland. Here I am at Land's End. So this is the very southwesterly point of Great Britain, and you are looking across an infinitude of ocean. So that is the Atlantic. And then you see these rocks here called the Armed Knight with the disused lighthouse upon it. I'll zoom in a little bit. Is this as much as I can zoom in? I'll zoom in, yeah. And then if I go to this side, on the distance, on the horizon, you maybe just about make out a dark shape. That's the Scilly Isles. So they say the weather forecast is here. If you can see the Scilly Isles, it is going to rain. If you cannot see them, it is raining. So this is about the best weather ever. So I'm extraordinarily fortunate because it's a notoriously rainy place, because obviously there's 3,000 miles of ocean between here and the American continent, and all the water evaporates up into the clouds and deposits itself here. We're not quite in the rain shadow, it's not that mountainous. Actually, a bit further east does get even rainier because it hits some of the hills. And over there, I don't know if you can see, there's a wind turbine out at sea. We could do a lot more of them. So it's incredibly flat calm, but you can see the raging sea when there's some ferocious tempests here brewed up, particularly in the bleak midwinter. And all these rocks have names. I don't know them. I see a little fishing vessel down there. Dangerous cliffs, so don't go over there lest you fall to your death. But which point is the actual southwest tip? I don't know where it is. We have to go down to those rocks and by the ocean's tide. So some picnic tables here. I'm told this land is actually private land, so you can see how rough and unconquered the land is around here. Is this thin, stony soil, scarcely fertile. So we're in the county of Cornwall, and there's a language called Cornish here. Only about 1% of people speak Cornish. A lot of people in Cornwall are not actually Cornish, moved in from the rest of the United Kingdom or other parts of the world. Obviously everyone can speak English, and only a small minority of them actually speak the Cornish language. They've got the Cross of St. Piran. I might try and show that to you later. But what else about Cornwall? So because this was rather unpromising soil, that's why the farming wasn't very good. Sheep farming was the thing to do. Obviously potatoes, when they came in the 17th century, transformative. And this place, it could be Ireland to look at it. It's obviously reminding me of County Clare. And there are lots of these small fields with thick hedgerows. It's very higgledy-piggledy, many drumlins, deep dells and depressions in the lands. It's very uneven, it's not very suitable for ploughing. You see plenty of gorse, bracken, and so forth. The blooming purple-headed heather. Anyhow, so that's why they started fishing for sustenance. Being fishermen turned into being sailors, and then they sailed all over the world. Look, here it is, the Cross of St. Piran. I don't know the story of St. Piran, but that is the flag of Cornwall. There's also their anthem, Trelawney. Shall Trelawney live or shall Trelawney die? 20,000 Cornishmen shall know the reason why. And there's some dispute about who this Trelawney is. Is either a 16th century figure or possibly his grandson, a 17th century figure, and I can't remember why he'd hacked off the monarch who hacked off Trelawney's head. So that's a well-known Cornish name. There's also Curnow, a Cornish surname. There are various ways to spell it. There's that CNN South African journalist Robin Curnow. She spells it Kernow. Or Belitho is another typically Cornish name. So there's a lot of pen in the toponyms and so on. Cornish is a Celtic language. It's a kindred language of Irish. Now, I was going to see if I could turn this around, but I don't think I can. Never mind. Yeah, there's a Cornish independence movement. They get under 1% of the vote. Look at this, the first and last house in England, depending upon which way you look at it. They often say from Land's End to John O'Groats, St John O'Groats being the most northerly point in Great Britain. It takes its name from some Dutchman who's involved there, Jan de Grit, as in John of the Big. Oh yes, Kellys of Cornwall, well, famous for their cows. They have some lush pasture, but you know, sheep farming was the thing to do. Anyway, as I say, as this was not very fruitful soil, they used to sail the seven seas. They're often seen as pirates, and the accent of the Anglophone Caribbean is often taken from the Cornish accent. I mean, it's very much akin to that of Devon and Dorset, the neighbouring counties, just a little way to the east. So there's other shires. They also produce sailors, perhaps not such a high proportion as Cornwall. And many Cornishmen, they sailed to India, were involved in the British Raj there. And the southern part of the United States, those southern colonies, when there were 13 colonies, were settled from southwest England, and that's reflected in the accent, whereas New England was settled from Eastern England, and you can hear that in their accent as well. You can also look at the toponyms which were applied to those settlements. Okay, anyway, so these are dangerous cliffs. Don't go so near. And look, this is a blast from the past. You know, English, German, French and Japanese. Well, obviously most Germans speak superb English these days, no need for that. And Japanese, we don't have too many Japanese tourists because, well, there are not that many Japanese. Now, yeah, because their population is falling, and we obviously have far more Chinese tourists. But 20 years ago, if you saw an Oriental person here as a tourist, you'd assume him to be Japanese, but now you assume him to be Chinese. Anyway, so you can see how rough the cliffs are. Look at those sea caves, those grottos. Well, you wouldn't want to go near there. I'm no speleologist, but it'd be rather perilous if the boats had come very close. So yeah, that is Land's End. It's £7 to park here. There's like about a 6-hour drive from Londinium, and I've been pleasantly surprised. I thought it'd be even more packed with touristicos. But there's a visitor centre. There's this little Land's End experience. You can go in and hear tales of Merlin and other things of the Knights of the Round Table, which are meant to be here. One of the castles down here, some people think it's meant to be from the those Arthurian legends. So the various Celtic legends which are set here. I can't remember that Tristan and Isolde. There's the idea that the King of Cornwall shelters them and they cross the sea to Ireland and so forth. Anything else? Oh yeah, look at the helicopter up ahead. There's also Land's End Airport very close by, but there are regular scheduled flights from Heathrow Airport to Newquay, and Newquay is about a 40-minute drive from here. So Newquay's on the northern Cornish coast, and it's an excellent surfing place, the sort of surfing mecca of the United Kingdom. And that is actually a substantial town with supermarkets, with affordable hotels. One thing, it is fairly expensive to stay here, but the season's quite limited because in the winter, or the weather is just dreadful, and any time from sort of October to April you really want to be here. It'll be windy and rainy, so I'm incredibly fortunate with this. Anything else about Cornish people? So yeah, that's maybe like the pirate accent. There's an International Speak Like a Pirate Day in when is it? In October. Why are pirates known as pirates? Because they are. How about that? So the Cornish language, it died out in the 19th century, but it was there in books and they managed to revive it, but very few people can speak it. So yeah, this is a Conservative constituency. It was Liberal Democrat in 1997, as the late, great Jeremy Thorpe, the sometime MP for Devon North, nearby, and he said, the 97 election, the Liberal Democrats, they'd won Land's End and John O'Groats. They just had a bit of filling in to do in between, which was met with gales of laughter at a Liberal Democrat soirée, as in they wanted to win all the other constituencies in Great Britain. So I'm very glad. I've never ever been to Cornwall in my life. So yeah, there's this idea for a Celtic confederation. Cornwall would declare independence in the United Kingdom. There'd be United Ireland, Scotland, Wales, the Isle of Man, and that would be a Celtic confederation. That's what rejectionist Republicans want in Ireland. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my channel. Make sure you follow me on Patreon, on PayPal and stuff like that. And oh yeah, look up my website, George from Ireland. So thank you for donations on PayPal, which I urgently need. It's not easy making these videos, so you can find me there, georgecallahan79@gmail.com. So that little village with the hotel, the bar, the restaurant, the gift shops and so on, that's up there. That's it. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Toodaloo.